everyone depends on smartphones, don't they? Be it navigating routes, connecting with someone in a different city or a country, or just fishing out information from the internet. जी हाँ, प्राइम मिनिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी के स्पीचेस और उनके इलेक्शन कैंपेन के दौरान आपने स्मार्ट सिटीज का जिक्र जरूर सुना होगा. The 100 Smart Cities project is intended for better environment, technology, safety, security, job opportunities and so on. और कैबिनेट ने हाल ही में अप्रूव भी किया है तकरीबन 50,000 करोड़ रुपए इस प्रोजेक्ट के लिए. So here I am, Gitanjali Prasad Chavriya, taking you on a tour of these smart cities. Let's take a look at what's in store. So keep your eyes and imagination open. The Modi government's 100 Smart Cities project is finally set to see the light of the day, with the cabinet approving rupees 48,000 crore for its development. 100 crore will be allocated to each city per year for the next 5 years. Because our metros are expanding at an exponential rate, there'll come a point when they won't be livable anymore. Therefore, the urgent need of new smart cities.
हमारे देश में करीब 500 शहर ज्यादातर गांव से रोजी रोटी कमाने के लिए लोग आते ही चले जा रहे हैं. बहुत तेजी से हमारा अर्बनाइजेशन हो रहा है. अच्छा होता आज से 25-30 साल पहले हमने अर्बनाइजेशन को एक अपॉर्चुनिटी समझा होता, अर्बनाइजेशन को एक अवसर माना होता. छोटी जगह में थिकली पॉपुलेटेड लोग एक प्रकार से देश की इकोनॉमी के ड्राइविंग फोर्स होते हैं. उस शक्ति को हमने पहचाना होता और हमारे अर्बन ग्रोथ इंजन के रूप में हमारी विकास यात्रा में उसकी भूमिका को हमने जाना होता और उसके प्रकार से उसको ताकत दी होती, तो हम भी आज दुनिया के उन समृद्ध और प्रगतिशील शहरों के बराबरी कर पाए होते. लेकिन देर आए दुरुस्त आए.
There is no dictionary definition to smart cities. What comes to mind when you hear the term is a utopian urban landscape which is environment friendly, green, safe, secure, has job opportunities, waste and disaster management, and easy accessibility to public transport, clean water and amenities like school and hospitals, and is technologically superior. The agenda is to empower the citizens in the decision making of their smart city to run smart. In simple words of our Prime Minister, smart cities are those that are able to attract investments. There are two kinds of smart cities. One, Greenfield project, which is development of new smart cities like GIFT, that is Gujarat International Financial Tech, spread across 886 acres and which is being developed as a financial center. Second is the Brownfield project, like the Dholera Special Investment Region, spread across 903 square kilometers, which is being developed as a large industrial area. Envisioned as a manufacturing hub, the city is expected to house 2 million people when it's completed in 2040. A city functioning on sensors and energy-efficient technology. That is indeed the need of the hour. Our Prime Minister had last year said that cities in the past were built on riverbanks. They are now built along highways. But in the future, they will be built based on optical fiber networks and next-generation infrastructure. चलिए देखते हैं और जानते हैं कुछ और smart cities के design के बारे में. Green buildings which are energy efficient and use renewable energy form an essential part of the smart city design.
One thing is very clear that whatever we build and whatever we construct, we have to be sustainable in our development. And when I say sustainable, it's slightly a larger version of being green, because what we have to care for our future generations, and we have to also care for the health and comfort of people living in the premises that we develop. So that's why all the green concept, whatever they talk of, it's about health and comfort of people who are residing, and also for future generations. So we don't do reckless and very rampant development, we do a thoughtful development. That's the idea.
Besides these, focus will be more on green pathways for walking and cycling, and more solar vehicles will be brought on the roads. Usage of solar panels, automated garbage collection, water treatment and recycling plants will be on top priority for a healthy and green atmosphere.
Smart cities really need to be sustainable. India's cities have a lot of challenges in meeting its resource needs, and ever increasing number of people coming into cities also face a lot of challenges. So we feel smart cities should be livable, and they should provide the basic services to all the people living in it 24/7, and they should be safe places for people to live in, and it is achievable.
The most crucial reliance of a smart city will be on technology like 3D mapping, free Wi-Fi at public places, and sensor-monitored water and energy use, traffic navigation, security cameras, all of which will be tracked by city administrators in the control room. Commuters will receive text messages alerting them of traffic and guiding them through the city's streets.
We have also seen in Europe that if you apply one concept of the smart city in a city, you keep changing various aspects of the city. Like you have seen mobility to 2040, wherein mobility plan was implemented in Brussels, and it changes the complete complexion of the city.
Facilities like smartphone apps to report water or gas leakages, traffic problems, potholes, and even voting will be incorporated in the plan. If everything goes as per the plans, then Indian smart cities will have a similar template as those of the European smart cities. The European Union is already working on making Mumbai a smart city and is likely to give a boost to the Indian Smart Cities project too. Cooperation in this regard between India and the 28-nation grouping is likely to be discussed at the India-EU summit later this year in Brussels. Here's some information that we gathered on the functioning of the European smart cities and where India stands at the recent Smart Cities conference in New Delhi. Smart cities around the world boast of optimum utilization of technology and energy efficiency in terms of spaces of work and residence, and vehicles, thereby focusing on low carbon footprint, larger commitment to public transport and amenities, and perhaps most important, a citizen behavioral culture engaged in sustaining the smart cities by, for example, cycling and walking.
There are the same three problems. The first of which is around the business model and kind of what you need to focus your city on. Second, related to that, is the brand. So what is your identity to the market and what is the way you position yourself? Also, we see quite a few issues around governance and how you orchestrate disparate and very complicated stakeholders. And the final thing we talk about, and the final thing we see a lot of, is issues around technology selection and vendor management. So if you deal with those three things, you're very likely to have a very good start in smart cities. And I would strongly recommend that anyone getting involved in smart cities looks at those rather than gravitating to technology, and that's where often people.
Population control comes as an important aspect of smart cities in order to maintain the quality of life. In short, smart cities are innovative cities. The advantage that Indian Smart Cities project will get from the European Union is that it can offer a wide array of expertise from their existing models.
What we are trying to do is to fit indicators we generally use in Europe to the local context, local Indian context. So we are trying to get closer to the Indian reality, to know deeper the Indian reality, and to choose about indicators we use in the European scheme to the Indian reality. I'd like just to highlight that indicators are the base of a methodology to offer simplified representation of complexity of the city, and they are a good tool to decision makers in order to establish priorities in the terms of resources and services in each city.
A lot of people talk about transferring technology from Europe to India, but the key message we try to convey here in India is building partnerships together with Indian companies and make impact, creating impact here. It's not about the technology, it's about partnerships.
Barcelona is a pioneer in smart city and low-carbon solutions. It was among the first in the world to introduce a solar thermal ordinance about a decade ago, launched electric vehicles and charging infrastructure, and the city also recently announced a major partnership to develop a living lab for smart city innovation. Rio de Janeiro, through their Intelligent Operations Center, is equipped to analyze real-time city information, anticipate problems, and coordinate available resources. Residents can also download an app to check city alerts like traffic jams and guide themselves through the best possible routes. Singapore too is an exemplary example of a smart city success. It not just teems with natural and man-made greenery, but also pulsates with streams of data running through almost every part of the city's physical geography. The man-made super trees aren't merely aesthetic, they operate as temperature moderators, absorbing and dispersing heat. They collect rainwater and act as ventilation ducts for conservatories nearby. Several are outfitted with photovoltaic cells to generate solar power. On the city's streets, a network of sensors, cameras and GPS devices embedded in taxi cabs tracks traffic, predicting future congestion and alerting drivers to detour. Singapore was the first place in the world to implement congestion pricing with its advanced system using traffic data to adjust prices in real time. At intersections, elderly and disabled residents use special cards that extend crossing times when tapped against traffic light poles. Subway commuters rarely wait more than a few minutes for a train. The city's water management system is among the world's most advanced, and the government is testing a new desalination technology for seawater that would be 50% more energy efficient than any current method. A super-fast next-generation broadband network already reaches 95% of homes and businesses in Singapore. Other cities like New York, Tokyo, Brussels, Bachin City in South Korea and Dubai are also counted as among the best smart cities. Now you might ask who are the players involved in making the 100 Smart Cities project a reality for the Indian government. तो हम आपको बता दें कि ऐसे कई सारे brands और companies हैं जो अपने अपने products और plans जैसे कि solar vehicle and security based on sensors को launch करने के लिए तैयार हैं. A geographical information system and 3D mapping is essential for the smooth functioning of a smart city, and that's where GIS has stepped forward to play an important role.
GIS is basically stands for Geographical Information System. It's a technology which will become the underlying technology for different activities within a city development, whether we call it a smart city or it's been in place already. It's being used in our cities in India as well for years now. Whether we talk about planning is one aspect of that, which is the physical planning, which is the urban planning part of it. It's used for master plan preparation, detailed plans. Then it comes to infrastructure planning. When we talk about planning transportation networks, we talk about planning utilities. Then it's used for safe and surveillance, safe cities for surveillance activities. It's used for governance by municipal corporations for grievance redressal. It talks about city portal. It talks about infrastructure which is available within the city. It talks about different host of applications which are there.
Smart mobility, which is energy efficient and environment friendly, is the need of the hour in India.
It's a completely green vehicle, zero emissions. It is basically for the first and last mile connectivity, and uses a very high-end lithium battery which comes with a 3 to 5 year warranty. It has a completely European safety certified record, and it meets European safety standards. And currently it's is in the process of meeting the Indian safety standards, and we hope to have it out on the roads in the next 12 months. So in the smart city, we'll also be putting up the infrastructure behind this. That will be the charging stations, and we will be connecting various clusters in the city, so that in a couple of years we can have a pan-city rollout of electric vehicles moving from one end of the city to the other.
One of the key aspects for me to be smart and to go for a sustainable city is the mobility of our people.
Safety and security based on sensors and apps are also being developed based on a complex visualization system tracked from the control room.
While you're deploying the smart city, it's important to manage the operations of the smart city. So the solutions that we are pitching here enable our customers to manage effectively smart city, keep total situational awareness information, as well as the ability to collaborate on a common operation.
Global energy needs are set to increase 40% by 2030. Cities consume maximum energy, be it oil, gas, or electricity. Energy efficiency, therefore, is also taken into account by companies.
7 domains that Shatter work in, that include smart energy, smart mobility, smart buildings, water, integration, data centers, and smart public services. In smart energy, our core business is smart grid and automation, flexible distribution, and in smart mobility, we have electric vehicle charging system, traffic management.
It's time for a short break now, but don't go anywhere because there's lots more coming up on the other side.
A thought leader in energy, water and climate change policies and implementation for urban, national and international sustainable development. The man behind US Department of Energy's US-India-China Cities Partnership, a technical advisor on low-carbon urban growth strategies and eco-city planning and development. He has developed energy, water, climate change systems analysis framework for cities and is the lead author of US Global Change Research Program's first ever assessment of the effects on climate change on energy production and use in the United States. Meet Vatsal Bhatt, Director of Cities and Neighbourhood Developments, US Green Building Council.
Hello and welcome to the show, sir.
Well, thank you for having me here.
So since we are talking about smart cities so much these days, not many people are aware, what exactly is a smart city. So my first question to you would be, what exactly are smart cities?
Well, it will be very hard to exactly define what is smart city because this concept is evolving, and many times people define it in terms of technology, people define it in terms of public health, people define it in terms of livability. But all these become part of a city being smarter, city being sustainable, city being green and all. So its definition is very much subjective to who and how we are looking into it. So obviously when we talk about smart cities, technologies are part of it. 24/7 service availability is part of it. And obviously people-centric. It needs to be people-centric. And that is why we are trying to look into it from all the perspectives. And at the end, what we try to look into it is the city should be performing at the level that people are asking for.
Moving further, what are the components of a smart city?
So as we talked, there are many parts of a smart city, right? Energy, water, waste disposal, transportation, education and skill development, health and safety, as well as housing and overall economic progression of the entire mass, all the people that are here in a city.
Why do we actually need smart cities?
That is just a paradigm. Smart cities is a paradigm. Whether we talk about smart cities, green cities, eco-cities, livable cities, there are so many different names of it. And obviously, the name defines its purpose, but mostly we all aspire to go to a level where that's a next from wherever we are, and improving our standards of living, services, and all this kind of stuff. Cell phone industry has shown us how we can raise our expectations quite quickly. And communications have improved over last all these years so much.
Moving further, tell me what role technology has in smart cities.
Now, geographical information system also becomes a big part of it, because then you can map certain things, analyze for certain things in different manner and all, and it operates as a kind of integrator as well to a certain extent for infrastructure, urban infrastructure. Now, this is at the city scale. At the building scales, technologies are going to improve as well. You just heard from interviews that you had on buildings that buildings can go quite efficient, and buildings can have different intelligent systems within themselves that will try to bring down the curtains when the outside light is very high or low and all. It would try to ramp up the air conditioner when the outside heat is high. So all these are smart technologies helping our performance, helping our human experience, helping our comfortness or comfort levels. So technologies are going to be helpful at many of these different junctures. Now, and then finally, it's people-centric. So can we as people use some of these technologies? So that's what I was earlier talking about, people-centric, making it people-oriented. It's going to be most useful because we have different apps. Now on my phone, probably I have 50 different apps. But can I use all those apps efficiently and effectively? May not be. So at times it becomes a technology overload as well. So we need to balance between technology overload and no infrastructure or no technology.
So would smart cities be green also?
Yes. So I have worked for last 12 years on various aspects of urban energy and environment aspects of it. So I would say my dream is to make these cities greener. Green not in a sense of greenwashing, but also really having something substantially green in terms of green technologies. Urban green, that is trees and plantations and otherwise. Having percolative surfaces in our cities so that water that falls into the ground goes into the aquifer and all. So all these are aspects of greenness. One big aspect that I had been working with for all these years is looking into how can we really reduce the energy coming in from fossil resources, going more towards renewable resources. But obviously many of the people are talking about cost aspect. Cost aspect is going to be discussed in the entire smart cities discussion with whatever infrastructure, whatever services that we talk about. So again, going back to green energy, can we supply parts of our overall energy supply, including electricity, with some kind of green energy, be it solar, wind, geothermal, wave energy, or other parts of it. For an example, our solid waste can also produce energy.
So we also are talking about climate change, that has become a major debatable issue these days. So would smart cities be also climate resilient?
Sure. So just to give a background, I had been working with Brookhaven National Lab for all these years. And there we work a lot on energy and energy policies and climate change mitigation. But I also am a lead author of one of the US global change programs, Impacts of Climate Change on Energy Use and Production. But with that, we are also working at the urban level on all the climate impacts and all the infrastructure. And that is where resiliency becomes an integral part of it. So one, in the mitigation part of it, and second is building our infrastructure in such a way that is climate resilient. Now, as I said, I live 60 miles east on Long Island from New York City. And New York City was hit 2-3 years ago with a superstorm Sandy. And that time, the whole of New York was dark, black. But a couple of patches were still lit. They had electricity. Why? Because they had small, smart grids. They had solar on the rooftop.
So we are talking about smart cities, we are talking about smart transport, smart technology, smart infrastructure. So do you think these smart cities should have smart people too?
Perfect. So you have touched on a good point that I had been talking about, that we need to have people-oriented development. For an example, yes, our big cities like Mumbai, Delhi, New York, London are putting up cutting-edge infrastructure. Great. But do you really think that this infrastructure should be put up in a third-tier city in India? Well, that's a debatable question. Cost and benefit analysis needs to be done to really understand whether X technology is useful for Y location or not. So that's a kind of a very, very subjective issue on how we can grow smarter. So, and that is where, if at all we really put some very alien technology into an area where it's not going to be used, then it's not worth to be put in. So the crux of the whole discussion is people. If at all we are not going to be using it, then what's the purpose of having it?
So thank you once again for coming on our show.
Thank you for inviting me.